Hey guys, it's HiddenDino here. So today I'm going to give you a basic understanding regarding for positioning and how different comps utilize this positioning to their advantage in order to gain an overall chance or higher chance of winning. And with that being said, I'm going to start off with Rebel just because it's the easiest to understand. Rebel has two main buffs, which is what makes them super strong, which is the Demolitionist, which is a 1.5 second stun, and the Rebel's buff itself in general, right? So if you guys see, majority of the people does place Gangplank in the very front, either on the left side or the right side, just because they can have him soak up enough damage to gain enough mana very quickly in order to cast a huge stun that allows and buys times for Asol to cast his ult to wipe off the rest of the units. Usually people place him in the left side or right side just because they want to either hit the AoE stun on the left side or right side. Pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes they put him in the middle just because a lot of people are clustered in the middle, so you can just utilize putting him in the left side, right side, or middle in order to find the best spot to have that AoE stun on your opponent's units. Also, a lot of people, just in case if you don't understand, they place a lot of units around Asol just to maximize the amount of HP that she can get and pretty much stacking her as much as possible with the Rebel buff just so she can destroy the other people's units, I guess. You do have Jinx in the center usually just because you want to protect yourself from Blitz pulls, which is from the left side or right side. And with that being said, that's pretty much the basic understanding for Rebels. Rebels, a lot of people also place the units all on the left side or on the right side. It's the same concept of placing GP, just because they want the Asol to hit the majority of the units on the left side and or the right side. If you place one unit outside the hex tech like this, and you allow this extra little space, Asol will tend to go to this open space and start heading out from this way all the way around. So people also utilize this in order to control or attempt to control where Asol goes as she flies around. So this is basically the basic principle regarding for positioning for Asol comps or Rebel comps. The second one, which is the one that I like to play the most, is Protectors. So a lot of people doesn't realize, but Protectors has actually a really great way of utilizing positioning in order to gain a really nice advantage in getting a better team fight going on for yourself. So if you guys notice, Xin Zhao and Raken are usually your carry, and you have your 3 Protectors and your 4 Mystics in the back. Your Xin Zhao and J4 are usually spread between 2 hextechs away from Xin Zhao just because Jarvan's buff needs to be within 2 hex tiles in order for them to receive the extra attack speed, which is why I usually see them 2 units far apart. Nico sometimes is in the middle just because she wants to get the AoE stun on the front line units as well. But the main important person right here is going to be Raken. Raken, I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly, but I'm going to say Raken for now. You can actually trick him into utilizing his ult in a certain specific way if you actually position him in certain different ways. So right here, if you actually position, let's just say you position all your units on the right side like this, and you put Sona right here on the right side, you can actually control Raken to go somewhere on between the left side of ulting around here instead of going somewhere else, like let's say on the right side or left side. You can actually force him to go around, ulting around this area. And also, if there is Infiltrators, whoever jumps in the back, he will attack them first. So if you want to avoid that, you can also play some like this. This allows Raken to most likely go on the left side and utilize his ult and target anything on the left side. So this is why it is really good against Rebel players, or it's a better chance of standing against Rebel players, because usually if you guys notice, Rebel players are stacked in a circle surrounding the Asol, right? If you position your Raken to a certain angle, whichever they're placing, let's say if the units are right here or units are right here, if you position them right here, let's say the units are right here, if you position them right here, there's a huge chance of hitting everybody in this AoE damage with the Raken's ult. So that's why Raken actually is a really good way to utilize positioning. And if you place him right here, right, he's going to most likely target the closest unit to him right now, which is either going to be this side or this side. So whichever unit you see your opponent has, if you see is right here, he will most likely target that unit and AoE jump right here as well. So this is a way to utilize Raken to the best of your abilities in order to gain that little advantage of seeing where you want him to do the AoE ult. Second or third comp, what I'm going to talk about is going to be Infiltrators. Infiltrators is one of those comps that is quite simple to understand. Positioning wise, pretty much you want to spread them all apart. So let's say Shaco, Kaisa, Echo, whatever your Infiltrator is, usually they're spread around 1 or 2 hex tiles away, just so you have a little coverage on both one side right here and one side right here. As you guys know, Infiltrators go straight up ahead, so this is the reason why they place it like this. The reason why they have Mecha in the front is because usually in the beginning, Mechas are the one that's going to soak up your damage. Your Infiltrators are going to be very vulnerable to dying if you don't have something to tank, which is why they place the 3 units right off the bat in the very beginning so they get all the aggro. You can always utilize the mechanics for this one to kind of switch where you want to place your tank or whatever it is to absorb the most damage from your opponents. So if you say a lot of people are stuck on the left side, you can obviously move it on the left side as well. Same thing on the right side, totally up to you. So Cybernetics is one of the ones that's a little bit trickier, I guess. So Cybernetics, you see everyone is spread out apart, right? Because Cybernetics usually is not a one-man carry team. You actually have multiple units. Some people like to stack Aurelia as a sole carry unit. There's different ways of playing this comp. Whoever you choose to stack, it doesn't really matter because positioning-wise, everyone is spread out. Just because due to the Cybernetic buff, where everyone gets 800 HP and 80 attack, everyone technically acts like a tank for your backline, which is usually your Kill, your Lucian, your MF, your Echo to carry it and do enough damage. However, in general, your frontline always provide already a decent amount of damage, so Cybernetic is like a comp where everyone chunks off a little bit of damage, and you can utilize this positioning to kind of get a little bit of damage on everyone. Therefore, your Echo can slowly clear up all the units, and this allows Aurelia to keep popping off to killing units and just pretty much reset her passive or ultimate that basically allows her to keep ulting again. So this is pretty much general positioning for Cybernetics. There is cases, but in general they are quite spread apart. Like I said, you still want to put one unit, whoever is carry. Let's say this is Kale right here is your carry right now at the moment. You want to make sure you place him in the center like this, and you have one unit to bait Blitzcranks, just because in case there are other players using Blitzcranks, this is to protect your main unit. If there is Infiltrator comps, you can also always, if you are the very last fight with the other person who's playing Infiltrators, right? You can always utilize this type of positioning where you can reverse your lineup and place your units like this. So you switch it up. Your tanks are all the way in the front and the back, and your DPS is right in the front. Usually you should have one unit in the front still regardless, just to tank that, let's say the Mecha Giant that usually is still there. But rest of your units, which is Leona and Furriel, can take the tanking or absorb the damage from the backline jumping to the front. So this is one way you can utilize switching your team comp, flipping it from forward to backward in order to kind of protect yourself from Infiltrators. The last one I want to talk about, which is going to be a Jin comp, which is quite popular these days right now, is very simple. This is the one that I'll say it's probably the most basic, easiest to understand regarding for positioning wise. It's 6 Dark Stars, 2 Mystics. This is not the right comp for it, but pretty much it is 6 Dark Stars. You do basically just have your your Dark Star units in the front, and everything else besides the Shaco, and there's usually a Lulu here. You position a Lulu right here, so you have every corner secure for a Blitzcrank grab. Your backline damage is your Shaco and your Jin, and your Karma right here on the side, just in case to protect your Jin. So Jin's ult is pretty much very simple to understand. 4 shots, and usually a unit dies within a shot or two. Whichever side that does not have Bramble Vest, you want to place Jin on that side. So let's say if there is opponents with Bramble Vest, you want to place them away from the Bramble Vest, just because usually you have IE on Jin. So that way it kills units a lot faster and allows your team to carry harder. You also want to place Jin opposite side of wherever the AoE is. So very simple to understand. Let's say if there's a protector comp all stacked right here on this left side or right side, you want to place him on the opposite side and keep switching him around throughout the entire end game or the late game that you play. So that's way you can utilize and maintain him alive the longest. And pretty much with GA, he's unable to be killed just because he does dish out a lot of damage. So hopefully this basic general understanding of this positioning helps you kind of understand why people position to kind of get the little bit advantage. One more thing I do want to mention is usually people split across like this, having 1 hexile or 2 hexile space across like this is because each of the units, this allows to diversify all the damage to each of the different units and kind of spread out the focus on different units so they don't die as fast. And yeah, that's just one key thing I just want to let you know. Regarding for Blitzcrank, it is going to be grabbing the farthest unit. So let's say if Blitzcrank's right here on your opponent's board, he's going to be most likely grabbing Kaisa. So Blitzcrank, same thing, most likely grab Lux if you want. If you want to utilize a little cheat, or not really a cheat, but more like a cheese, you can put Zephyrs right here. Zephyr the Lux, and you're grabbing the Mordekaiser. So this is kind of like the different ways you can utilize Blitz pulls. And this is kind of like a simple, easy basic understanding regarding for positioning. If you guys have any other questions, do let me know, comment below. I have more gameplays uploaded, so in case you guys are interested in that, definitely click right ahead. There are guides for different comps that I did upload regarding for this season. Yeah, hope you guys good luck in climbing, and peace.